This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, hello there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond. Welcome you to another sports catastrophe on this day. And on this day, October the 20th, 2004, one of the greatest comebacks in baseball history has been finished. Yes, it was the ALCS between the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees. It was a tight matchup. It was a rematch of the LCS from the previous year in which Boston had beaten the Yankees easily in Game 7 until Pedro Martinez was left in a little too long by Grady Little. And the Yankees tied the game and it would win on an 11th inning home run by Aaron Boone, pardon. So anyway, the Red Sox had to take down the Anaheim Angels in the playoffs, and the Yankees took care of the Minnesota Twins. Normally, the Yankees and Red Sox could meet because it's 1 versus 4. Like Boston won the wild card, the Yankees won the division. But because they're the same division, Red Sox had to face the number 2 team, that was Anaheim. And then the Yankees were number 1. They took on Minnesota number 3. So, this series was a huge series and all that. Boston came back. They made a massive trade getting rid of a few decent players and a minor leaguer to the Arizona Diamondbacks for Curt Schilling. Grady Little was fired and replaced with Terry Francona. And the Red Sox got their closer Keith Falk to a 3-year deal, putting Derek Lowe back as a starter. The Red Sox shockingly traded shortstop Nomar Garcia-Parra to the Cubs in exchange. And in that 4-team deal, they got Orlando Cabrera, a pretty good shortstop, former Expo. The Red Sox swept the Angels in the first round. So anyway, I will tell about my personal connection with the 2004 ALCS later. The Yankees looked pretty good. They got rid of Aaron Boone because he ruined his contract by injuring himself playing pickup basketball, and they got rid of him. The Yankees decided to get Esteban Loaiza from the White Sox for Jose Contreras. So anyway, the Yankees did that. So Boston and New York would battle each other. All that. There was a little bit of archie-barchie. Game 4 was supposed to be in the afternoon, but Bud Selig moved the starting time of Game 4 to prime time due to the rematch, and also because Fox had a triple header. Fox would broadcast Seattle, New England from Gillette Stadium, very close to Fenway Park, at 1 Eastern time, and then Game 4 of the NLCS between the Cardinals and Astros at 4:30. So anyhow, in Game 1, the Red Sox scored 7 runs in the 7th and 8th inning. Unfortunately, though, that wasn't enough as they lost 10-7 to the Yankees. Messina beat Schilling with Mo Rivera picking up the save. All that. Schilling was just not effective. Game 2 saw the Yankees beat the Bull Sox 3-1, as Pedro would take on John Lieber and thought he would do well. Unfortunately, though, the Yankees would score 2 in the 6th, giving up a 2-run home run to John Olerud. Why was he on the Yankees? Like, fuck. I didn't mind him being on the Mets and the Mariners, and obviously the Blue Jays, but the Yankees, fuck. Game 3 saw the Yankees crush Boston in Divine Powder 19-8. The Game 3 was supposed to be on Friday the 15th, but due to rain, it had to be postponed. So it was Kevin Brown versus Bronson Arroyo. Unfortunately, the Yankees, it was close. It was 6-6 after 3 innings, but in the 4th, 5 runs came in as A-Rod hit a home run over the Green Monster. And then there was a lot of problems. So anyway, Boston's bullpen just didn't have it in them. When the game was over, the Yankees set a team record for most runs in a game. Rodriguez, Sheffield, and Matsui had prolific hitting nights. In fact, the teams combined for 37 hits and 20 of them being extra base hits, both postseason records. And it was the longest 9-inning postseason game played at 4 hours 20 minutes. Basically, it was game over. And then Sunday, it was El Duque, Orlando Hernandez against Derek Lowe. The Yankees would score 2 in the third inning when A-Rod hit a home run over the Green Monster. However, in the fifth inning, Boston would put up 3 runs. David Ortiz had 2 RBI singles to make it 3-2. Yankees came back with 2 in the sixth as Matsui hit a triple and Bernie Williams got an infield single to tie the game. Ruben Sierra hit another infield single, scoring Posada. Yankees lead 4-3. Tenney and Sturts looked good, and Mario Rivera, for some reason, decides to come in the game for 2 innings of relief for the save. In the ninth, he walked Kevin Millar. Millar was taken out for Dave Roberts to pinch run. And Dave Roberts, the former Dodgers manager, I should say, actually did pretty well. He stole second base. It was close. And then Miller hit a single to score Roberts. The game went to extra innings. The teams would threaten for more runs, but it was tied to the bottom of the 12th. Manriam hit a single off Paul Contrell. And then Ortiz took a 2-run home run to right field. And few can forget the Joe Buck call. Ortiz into right field, into the corner. We'll see you later tonight, because the game actually went past midnight, and then they had to play game 5 at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 16 hours after game 4 ended. Boston put up 2 runs in the first inning off of Mike Mussina. It was Mussina versus Pedro. Ortiz singled home run, and Jerry Veritek walked with the bases loaded. Bernie Williams would make it 2-1 on a home run. In the 6th inning, Derek Jeter hit a bases-clearing double to make it 4-2. The Red Sox didn't threaten till the 8th inning, but then Ortiz hit a home run off Tom Gordon, making it 4-3. Millar walked, again replaced by Dave Roberts, who went to third on Trot's Nixon single. And then Mariano Rivera came in, with the lead still intact. But Jason Veritek tied it with a sac fly. The Yankees had a chance in the 9th to take the lead, but Tony Clark hit a ground rule double. Okay, fine. But if the ball did not hop over the short right field wall, Sierra would have scored. Ruben Sierra had to stop at third base, and the Yankees didn't score. So nothing happened till the 14th. Ortiz came up with 2 outs. David and Ramirez walking. And he did it. He got a base hit. Ortiz did it. Boston's forced a game 6. And the funny thing is, a lot of things. So anyway, it was 5 hours, 49 minutes. The longest postseason game. Until Game 4 of the 2005 NLCS between the Astros and Braves, which actually lasted only 1 minute longer, even though it was 18 innings, because of the fast pace of things. But of course, that in turn would be taken over by the National San Fran Game 2 of the 2014 LDS and Game 3 of the 2018 World Series between the Red Sox and Dodgers. Here's the funny thing. Game 5 of the NLCS in Houston was supposed to start at 8:54. It was supposed to be the second part of Fox's 2-game telecast. However, that game proceeded quickly and actually ended 24 minutes after the final pitch of Boston, New York. So basically, if you were trying to get Houston, St. Louis, you would have to wait a while, and you almost missed the whole game. However, Jeff Kent's home run was seen that sent the NLCS to Game 6 with Houston up 3-2. So because of the rainout, they had to play Game 6 at Yankee Stadium on October 19th. It would have been an off day between days. So Schilling took on Lieber, and Schilling had a torn tendon sheath in his right ankle, but was surgery in place by an unprecedented procedure by team doctors. And of course, this was the bloody sock game. Red Sox were up 4-2 in the 8th inning when A-Rod basically tried to cheat. He slapped the ball out of Arroyo's glove, knocking the ball loose to make it 4-3. However, the umpires knew something was wrong. A-Rod was out, and Jeter was ordered back to first base. Fans were upset with that and threw debris and all that. So the police were just making things out of mockery. So anyway, Boston would force Game 7, of course, on this day, October 20th. Boston needed something. They had Game 7 all to themselves at 8:30 p.m. Derek Lowe versus Kevin Brown. Johnny Damon tried to score on a man ran base hit, but he got thrown out. However, David Ortiz went in a 2-run home run to make it 2-0. In the second, with the bases loaded, Johnny Damon came up to the plate against Javier Vasquez, who was replacing Kevin Brown, and he slammed one into the right field seats. Grand slam, 6-0 Boston. Derek Lowe would pitch 6 good innings. However, Damon would get a home run in the 4th to make it 8-1 and give himself 6 RBIs in this game. So Vasquez was relieved by Esteban Loaiza, who did okay. Pedro came on to relieve Lowe in the 7th. He did give up a few runs. However, in the top of the 8th, Mark Bellhorn, the guy I liked from the 2004 Red Sox because it was an underdog, hit a home run to make it 9-3 Boston. The game ended 10-3. So at 12 in the morning, Ruben Sierra hit a ground ball to Pokey Reese, who threw to Doug Mankiewicz to finish off one of the greatest comebacks of all time. Down 3-0. And they come from behind to win Game 7. It was amazing. In fact, they became the 3rd team to come back from their 0-3 deficit in sports history, preceded by the 1942 Leafs in the Stanley Cup Finals and the 1975 New York Islanders in the Stanley Cup quarterfinals. The Yankees had won 7 straight ALCSs. Their last ALCS choke job was 1980 when they lost to the Royals, who subsequently lost to the subsequently lost to the Phillies. All that. It was shocking. I mean, can you believe it? The Red Sox did all that? In fact, the Red Sox became the first Major League team to win 8 straight postseason games in the same postseason. After winning the 4th straight in the ALCS, no surprise, they swept the St. Louis Cardinals in the World Series. Oakland actually won 10 straight postseason games, but they were spread out over 2 postseasons. They won 3 straight ALCS. No, 2 straight. Yeah, they won games 4 and 5 of the ALCS. They lost game 3 to the Jays, but they swept the World Series, and then they would sweep the 1990 ALCS before being swept themselves in the finals by the Reds. And the Yankees did win 11 straight games over 2 consecutive postseasons. The 98 ALCS and World Series, and through the 99 ALDS and into the 99 ALCS. The 2019 Nationals even did that, 11 straight games, to my dismay. So anyway, this was amazing. So yeah. David Ortiz was the first player to hit 2 walk-off home runs in the same postseason. The 2004 ALDS Game 3, what he did against Anaheim, and then 2004 ALCS Game 4. The Yankees went on a little bit of a suffrage, if you will. They suffered quite a bit. In 2009, they finally got back to the World Series and did beat the Phillies in 6 games. And actually, people say this was a turning point in the Red Sox-Yankees rivalry. You know, the curse of Babe Ruth and all that. Curse of the Bambino. Yeah, the Red Sox took care of the Yankees in the ALDS in 2018 in 4 games. That was the game that Brock Holt, who was coming in to pitch, was he? I think it was a pinch hitter or something in the 2nd inning or something. He came in and he became the first and only player to hit for the cycle in the postseason. It's shocking. The 0-3 comeback almost happened again last year when Houston were down 3-0 in the ALCS against the Tampa Bay Rays, but Tampa won Game 7. And the 0-3 comebacks would happen twice more in sports. It's never happened in the NBA, but in the NHL it did. The 2010 Flyers did. They were down 3-0 to the Bruins in the 2nd round. Not only did they come back from a 3-0 deficit in that series to win in 7 games, they actually came back from 3-0 down in Game 7. That's what people forget. That the Flyers were down 3-0 in Game 7 and they still won the game. The Kings would turn the trick against the Sharks, being down 0-3, and come back to win the series in the 1st round. And that was a catalyst for them getting the Stanley Cup, to my dismay, because A, I was cheering for the Rangers in that one, and B, LA cost me a chance to do something I never have done in NHL postseason history. Predict a 1st round with 8 for 8. That was the only mistake I made. And honest to God, I picked Minnesota over Colorado because I figured this was going to be a repeat of something else. So, of course, let's get to the other part. The last part is my stuff to do with this, my personal thing. Now, I was following the World Series I was following the postseason quite well. Now, of course, 2004 was the year I moved from my parents' farm to Kitchener, so to go to college. So I watched Game 3 that night, Red Sox and Angels. And I had a sharp pain in my stomach and all of that. I just don't know what happened. I just couldn't sleep and all that. And then my brother Everett took me to the hospital at 3 in the freaking morning. And I had appendicitis. The appendix goes out. Whoop. I had to stay a couple of days in the hospital. I was out on Monday. I was out on Monday. I was in the hospital on Saturday, out on Monday. And then, you know, I spent the week at Mom's. Well, obviously, if you should know me, my dad did die in 2020, so not from COVID, but from heart failure. So unfortunately, so I stayed a week at my parents' place, and then just before Game 4, I went back to the house I shared with Everett, my brother at the time. And that was when the Red Sox made that comeback to win Game 4. And then, of course, you know, all the way through. And, of course, I was still recovering a little bit from my appendix. But here's the funny thing. The Red Sox were undefeated when I was in Kitchener. Because, remember, Boston won the ALDS against the Angels just before I had to go to the hospital. So, while I was in the hospital / being at my parents' place, the Red Sox didn't win 1 game. I came home just in time for Game 4. Back to Kitchener for Game 4 and all through the Red Sox postseason series. So the Red Sox were perfect 8-0 while I was in Kitchener, and a dismal 11-3 when I was actually at my parents' place. So kind of weird, don't you think? But it's all true. Trust me. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.